Felicia.
Fresh.
Our friends at, I'm so excited today because our friends at xTool just sent us the M1. They said, you know what? Take this, play with it, show us what you can do.
We have never been so excited to get this machine.
And we've been talking about getting one of these for a long time.
We have.
We're like, should we do that? Because we've been doing a lot of our stuff with our Cricuts and our Silhouettes and Acrylic and all that stuff. But this is kind of next level, isn't it?
Totally next level.
Why?
It's so cool. I mean, look at the things that you can do with this.
What have you made already?
You can engrave slate. Mm-hmm. You can engrave wood.
This was your first one, wasn't it?
That was my first one.
You actually cut this, too, out of a piece of wood, didn't you?
Right. We cut it and we engraved it.
That's pretty neat.
First try. Yeah. Right out of the box.
So slate, it'll do, what, glass? It'll do acrylic?
It'll do tumblers. It'll do
stainless steel, I understand?
Stainless steel. It'll engrave like metal business cards or even dog tags.
But this is really cool. This is these two things you made. Tell me what these are.
So these are anchors.
You do a lot of work on Etsy for your Etsy store.
We do a lot of work on Etsy for our Etsy store, yes, absolutely. So we made these anchors with removable magnets.
So I can put this on my refrigerator and then put it back. Oh, right. Genius.
Magnet attached.
Very
and
cool.
I don't know, we did all of this with this machine.
Amazing.
We literally just got it yesterday. We just unboxed it.
First day you did all this.
You're
all over. You're like a little kid.
I don't want to stop playing with it. There's so much that it can do, and there's so many things that we haven't even touched on yet.
So we know it's a laser cutter. It engraves. It scores with the laser, but it also has a blade, which enables you to do what?
Right. You can cut HTV or vinyl.
That's crazy. Machine. So this is like a Cricut and a laser cutter
all in one.
All wrapped up in one. That's amazing.
Yep. I wanted to point out the software. I think that it's fairly simple to use once you understand some of the settings, but I'd have to relate it to maybe Cricut's Design Space software of all the different versions of crafting software out there on the market today.
I actually felt it was a little more intuitive than Cricut's Design Space.
Did you really?
Because I got this thing working the first day, and it took me a couple days to get the Cricut going.
It was pretty awesome. Yeah. This was pretty amazing. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, well, let's jump into what's in the box and show some of the materials, some of the sample stuff they sent us, and how you did your first project.
Let's do it.
All right, so it's your first project. What did you make? You just want to do something simple, right?
We just did something simple. We just wanted to cut a piece of wood with our logo on it.
All right. We didn't cut here. We did, what is it called, engraving?
We engraved here and then we later cut it.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so there's your famous family unit logo. Love it.
Right, and the software allows you to take that background out. So
That's
pretty,
just like Cricut,
pretty
right?
simple. Yep, you can drag the corners and size it down to what you want. You can also change it so that we wanted it to just be black and white because that's all you're going to get when you engrave.
Yeah.
We wanted to be able to see it, so that's what we did there. And in the manual, the book that comes with it, it tells you the level of power and speed that you need to use when you're engraving wood.
Oh, that's helpful. So that's in the instruction book
It's
that
in the
comes
book,
with it,
yep.
with the materials. That's pretty cool. All
Correct.
right, so you set all this to do what it's going to do and just engrave. We're not going to cut all the way through, so we didn't have to put anything under that, and we'll talk more about that later. So what's framing?
Framing is actually in the machine. You can see
Like
if you click frame, it'll actually put a light around the spot on the piece of material in the machine that you're actually going to be
You
using.
make sure it's the exact spot on the material, so you
Exactly.
don't cut through a hole or something.
Exactly, right?
I'd do something like that. All right, so pretty simple to do. It looks like pretty straightforward. So you just send it to the machine, and the machine just starts going nuts.
That's it. There it is.
Wow, look at that. Like lasers, like Luke Skywalker. Look
at
Sped
that.
it up a little bit.
So cool.
Did you think it took a long time to do this?
No, I didn't think it probably took maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's not
Maybe.
bad. This is a pretty simple, small design. Obviously, the bigger and more detail you go, probably gonna take longer. Look at that. Your first engraving on wood.
How
I'm
cool
so
is
excited.
that? I mean, we were so excited over
You
this.
can actually feel the depth in this thing. It's really cool. I think you can go deeper too, but you have to be careful how deep you go so you don't cut through.
Right.
Did you smell any smoke?
You do smell a little bit of a
Little
wood
burning?
burning smell. Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
kind of a cool smell though.
Yeah, okay, if you
You
like
got
it.
to ventilate it outside the window through this kind of rig we put in. Now, what are you putting in here? These are the prismatic.
Yeah, they're the
things?
triangle prism thingies that
Okay.
help raise the, if you're cutting, help raises your wood up off of the base.
So your laser's not hitting the bottom.
Exactly,
Gotcha.
Exactly.
All right, cool.
So that exact same thing we just engraved, now we're going to cut.
All right, so this changed the perspective because you didn't have triangular prism on there, and the camera is actually a camera inside this, like a 16 megapixel camera that shows you what's on the cutting area.
Exactly.
And if you don't have that prismatic thing in there, then your cut's going to be off. So make sure if you have the prisms in there, you click the little special setting, the triangular prism.
Right.
Triangular prism, that's what it's called. Okay, so you got that all set up. You told it what kind of wood you have here, and what happens now? We just send it to the
We're
machine?
just sending it back over to the machine to do the cut, and the only thing it's doing is cutting that outside circle.
But you could do multiples.
Or
You
square.
could actually do engraving and cutting at the same time.
You
can't
did. In a later project, as we got a little bit, well, we played with this thing for hours.
Yeah, oh,
and
yeah.
as we got a little bit better, we actually engraved and cut all one project, not having to do multiple steps
Look
here.
how sneaky you are. Did this take a while?
No, this was fairly quick too.
This is real time right here. So it's actually cutting. It's using a laser. It's using, think about this, using light to cut wood. How scary is that?
It's pretty cool.
It's like
it
a
really
weapon.
is pretty cool.
So yeah, you have to keep the top closed, and it does have a blue light filter, so.
And if
can
you
look at
open the top while it's working, it pauses.
Okay,
The
that's
software
good.
says pause. Everything kind of just stops when you
Yeah,
open
because
the
you don't
lid.
want to drop any like paper or something that could catch on fire and all that stuff here.
Right.
All right, so it's doing a nice job. It's flying through there and it's cutting out this little square. Your first cut, are you excited? Now, did you have to kind of peel it off like you do with the
No,
Cricut stuff? You kind of have
no.
to break it off a little
No,
bit?
you'll see. When we lift this up, it just pops
it just
right.
fell off.
It pops right out. You just pull the wood up, pick your piece up, and off you go.
No way.
It's so cool.
And right away, you don't have to let it cool or anything?
No, it's not hot to the touch at all. We pulled it right out, picked that right up.
So no cool peel?
No cool. No.
That is a look at. I like the sides too. Where it's black. It gives
Yeah.
that little burn look. It's
Yep.
almost like you'd painted it. Did that on purpose.
pretty
Very
cool, right?
cool. So you do get these little smudges on the bottom. No problem. It's supposed to be there.
No problem. It's supposed to be there. Just wipe it right up.
You don't even have to wipe it, do you?
Some people say use like a baby wipe to wipe it up.
Okay, so that's like moisture and
Yep.
some burn marks from the wood, and it's going
Right.
to get all jacked up.
Right.
Okay, cool. All right, so we're going to do something else here. You've got your wood with your little hole in it now, so you can't use that space, obviously.
Right.
You just move it somewhere else. We're going to do some letters here.
Let's do it. Let's
So
do
you're
some
gonna
text.
do
We're going to
scoring.
score it. We're going to see what score means with this machine. Score with a Cricut actually means it creates a fold line.
Oh.
Right? So score here, what does that mean with this machine?
Or like you did in leather, you did embossing. This
Embossing,
is that kind of thing,
yeah,
right? It
yeah.
just kind of draws on it with light.
Right.
So that's pretty neat. Who is fresh?
That'd be you.
I like that. And you can use any font on your computer?
Any font?
No way.
Way.
Imagine that. I think there is a weld tool in here too. I think there's some other tools that we haven't jumped into
There
yet.
is. There's a weld tool there, right there on the screen below fonts where we're scrolling through.
Awesome. So we will get into that in a later video. You're going to do more videos with this?
Absolutely.
It's especially, I'm going to see the tumbler to engrave the tumbler. That's pretty cool. So this, oh, you can turn it. That's interesting. So you're just going to do a little engraving here and see what that looks like.
I turned it because I wanted to maximize my space on my wood. This is kind of a practice piece,
right?
You
can spread things out too, so you have a little bit of creative freedom here to do things. Oh, that's a little smashed together. So that's interesting that you can do that. Some people may want to do that with certain fonts.
Right.
All right, so you did your little frame thing here. We didn't show it on camera, but it just draws a little bit of light. It doesn't cut anything, doesn't do anything. It just shows you exactly where on your material it's going to do. And you're not elevated with your triangular prisms here?
No.
You only have to use those when you're cutting?
When you're cutting, I think when you're cutting,
okay,
yes,
cool.
From what we've experienced so far.
All right, so you're going to send that over there, and then it's going to do the magic. Oh, it did the framing thing here.
I probably did the framing a couple times just to make sure that it was, because I moved it a little bit. I want to make sure.
When you're doing the framing, you're actually looking in the machine and watching the light go around.
Exactly,
Okay, cool.
Exactly.
And then when you're ready, you just process.
Yep.
And it gives you the. Yep, you have to press the button on the front of it. There's like a blue button.
Right, once you press start in the software, you actually have to go to the front of the machine, press the flashing blue button, and off it goes.
It's like, are you really ready?
And this is fast.
That was really fast.
This was really fast. That was real time.
And it looks like it used like a marker. You know what I mean? But it's actually burned into it with light. And that's really cool.
How cool is that?
Imagine the personalization.
I know. It's incredible.
On cork, on steel, all kinds of stuff. So I can't wait to dig into that. Wait, what's this? This looks like a Cricut vinyl mat.
All right, so we took one of their light grip mats, and it's actually different than the Cricut machines. It's sticky on both sides.
Ooh,
the clear side, the non-grid side, goes down in the machine and kind of sticks it in place a little bit. It's real light tack, light tack.
Makes sense.
And now you put your vinyl on top of the mat.
Okay.
And then you can do the cut.
Because with the blade, there's physical contact with the material. Where the laser, it never really touches it, so it doesn't move.
Exactly.
I see. And it is a rotary blade too, which is going to give you that really, really precise cut, especially with really thin materials.
Right.
Where the other blades on some of the less expensive machines just kind of drag across and rip it. But you're not going to see that here.
Exactly. I do love the fact that the machine shows you where the material is on the screen.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
so you can size things down. The camera does it. So you can size things down within the space that you want to use.
Yeah, Cricut, you just kind of guess. You kind of guesstimate on there. But this, you can physically see where it's going.
Exactly.
And you can see if it's folding up on the sides too.
Exactly.
So you're going to do some tiny, tiny cuts on here. You're really going to test that rotary blade.
Why not, right? Give it a shot.
So you can't cut with laser, although the laser and the blade are in the same head. So you have to change that to blade cut. But I understand they're teasing that you might be able to cut vinyl with a laser. I don't know if that's true, but
I don't know.
I saw something about it coming soon.
We can certainly give it a try. It's got a lot of different options for the types of materials you can use here.
Very, very
so just
cool.
find the one that you're using and go ahead and start and send it right over to the machine to do the cut process.
Now this took a little longer than your Maker 3, didn't it?
This was definitely a slower process than the Maker 3, or even the Joy or the Joy Extra, but it worked. It did the job of what it was supposed to do. It cut and it did it very well.
I wonder if xTool has plans to speed this up in the future through a firmware update.
I wonder.
Oh, there it is. How'd it look? Good cuts?
It turned out, yeah, the cuts were perfect. There were no issues at all with any of the cuts.
Oh wow!
And there you go.
Look at that. You got some really fine pieces in there too. That's
yeah.
amazing.
I tried to choose something that had a lot of little tiny pieces so we could see how well it did.
And there's everything you made in day one. I'm so proud of you. Do you love the xTool M1?
I love it.
And make sure you click that subscribe, like, follow, and the bell to get notified when we come up with more xTool M1 videos.